Hello and welcome to Doctress, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of medicine. Joining me today, she is the only pathologist practicing exclusively thoracic pathology in India.
It's a wonderful opportunity to connect to the network of Indian lady doctors, Doctress.
Why do you think a strong foundation and sound knowledge of pathology is essential for every clinician?
Pathology is a medical discipline which provides not only the diagnosis of the disease but also.
What do you think is the general perception of pathology as a career option?
Pathology is actually a very dynamic and interesting subspecialty, but unfortunately most of the medical students.
Would you like to share any interesting case scenarios which basically changed the entire treatment plan after the pathology report?
So I get reminded of one interesting experience that I had. There was one patient who was diagnosed in COVID.
Having said that, of course, there will be some problems associated with this specialty degree in India. So, can it be done any better?
Yeah. So unfortunately, in India, the subspecialty practice is very much under-recognized because most of the pathologists are expected to do, the general histopathology, and but I completely don't agree with this. Because it's like, jack of all trades and master of none.
Hello and welcome to Doctress, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of medicine. I'm Dr. Bharani, consultant pathologist in Secunderabad Diagnostic and Research Center. Today we'll be shedding light on crucial yet underrated field, pathology. Now, pathology is a science that works behind the scenes and helps doctors to come to an accurate diagnosis and also help in guiding treatment decisions. Yet it does not always get the recognition it deserves. Joining me today is Dr. Sharada Nagoti, a consultant thoracic and lung transplant pathologist who is currently associated with CPATH Referral Labs. She is the only pathologist practicing exclusively thoracic pathology in India. She is a national delegate in the podcast Fresh Air series representing India among other lung pathology experts worldwide. We're very happy to have you, Dr. Sharada Nagoti.
Thank you so much for the invitation, Dr. Bharani. And it's a wonderful opportunity to connect to the network of Indian lady doctors, Doctress, and it's my pleasure.
Thank you. So together we will be discussing about the practice in pathology, which is a silent force in medicine.
Sure.
Sharing insights from our experiences. So shall we dive in?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
And I also gathered a set of questions from fellow pathologists just to get different perspectives about pathology.
Okay.
So to start with, why do you think a strong foundation and sound knowledge of pathology is essential for every clinician?
Yeah. So, as you know, Dr. Bharani, pathology is a medical discipline which provides not only the diagnosis of the disease, but also it gives a lot of other information to the clinician, which actually guides the clinician in the right patient management. The entire hospital and each and every other specialty of medicine depends on pathology. So that is the reason why a clinician should have a sound knowledge and a foundation about pathology, should be able to understand the reports and what is the information that is provided in the report, and also the limitations of that particular testing. So for example, I'm a thoracic pathologist. So when I get a surgical specimen, so what I do is I diagnose the disease, whether it is a benign or a malignant. And then if it is an infectious process, and suppose if it is a malignancy, then I try to type the malignancy, whether it's a carcinoma or a sarcoma or a lymphoma. And then after typing, then I go ahead with doing the staging of the tumor, and then after that molecular testing. So all these information, whatever I provide in my report, the diagnosis, the staging, and the molecular driver mutations, all these provide important information for the clinician to guide further treatment and to further plan his treatment strategies. So this is the reason why the clinicians should have up-to-date knowledge about the pathology and also have a strong foundation about pathology.
Very well said, doctor. And what do you think is the general perception of pathology as a career option?
So, pathology is actually a very dynamic and an interesting subspecialty, but unfortunately, most of the medical students in India, they have they have a lot of preconceived notions. That is because I feel that they are not, properly rotated to the pathology department postings, unlike the clinical rotations. So once they understand that, the pathologist is actually the hero behind the scenes, I think pathology is a very good career option, especially to people who have a lot of desire to learn for research, who has a desire to teach, and who has other who are very inquisitive and who can do that detective work, like solve the clinical puzzles and then come up to the diagnosis, who has a lot of observation skills. They can recognize the patterns, they have good communication skills. So for people who love doing all this, who are passionate about all these things, pathology is a very good career option.
Yeah, I agree with you totally, ma'am. So, would you like to share any interesting case scenarios which basically changed the entire treatment plan after the pathology report?
So I get reminded of one interesting experience that I had. There was one patient who was diagnosed in COVID. Like he had undergone a CT scan during the COVID pandemic, and then a small nodule. The CT scan had picked up a very small, tiny nodule, and then the radiologists and the clinicians felt that it is just a benign nodule, and then it was just left for observation. And then he had some few follow-up scans. The nodule was very slow growing. And after 2 years, what happened was another CT scan was done because he had prolonged cough. And then the nodule size had increased. And then that was when they had a suspicion. And then the surgeon had planned a wedge resection. So he had done a wedge resection and he had given me the biopsy sample. So, very surprisingly, it turned out to be a malignant. They were just thinking that it's a benign nodule. And so they thought that a wedge resection will be sufficient. But when it came to the biopsy did show an adenocarcinoma. And apart from that, when I was grossing the specimen, there was another tiny nodule just adjacent to that previous nodule, the first nodule. And then when I had biopsied that nodule, again that was another adenocarcinoma. So there is a satellite nodule. So two nodules in one lobe. So instead of giving my stage as T2, I had to sign it out as T3, and the surgeon had to counsel the patient, and then instead of just stopping with the wedge resection, he had to go ahead and do a lobectomy. So this is one scenario where the pathology report changes the treatment drastically.
Wow, that's such a fantastic case, very interesting.
Yeah.
And also I would like to take this as an opportunity to discuss one of the cases, interesting cases. So it was like an eye-opening case, and again which emphasizes pathology as a very crucial field in medicine. So there was this 33-year-old female. So she was breastfeeding and nursing 8 months old baby. So she had come with a lump in her right breast and was already treated because usually during breastfeeding the common diagnosis that we come to is a galactosile,
Yeah.
a cyst, basically a retention cyst.
Yeah.
So and then the consulting physician said, it will be fine, not to worry. And then however somehow the pain was still progressing, and then the doctor suggested to go for FNAC. And then when we did the FNAC and we reviewed the slides under microscope, oh my god, that was a shocker to us, because it was not galactosile, because we were also expecting a benign condition usually in such cases. But it turned out to be a carcinoma. And then we had asked her to go for a biopsy just for the confirmation.
Yeah.
And then so her husband personally, he had come to our lab, and then he had submitted the specimen, and when we again saw the slides under microscope, it turned out to be a breast carcinoma, medullary type.
Oh.
So this was an eye opener, and when I actually went back and checked out the statistics, so I found out that it is a very rare scenario. So the incidence is about 3, maybe 3 in 3,000 cases. So that was like an eye-opening case, and I myself felt, oh my God, pathology, it actually plays a crucial role, because that is going to change the entire treatment course for the patient.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, so having said
So
that,
these are all, I mean, these are all wonderful experiences
Yes.
in our lives as a
Yes.
pathologist. I mean, we made the diagnosis, the clinician is thinking of something else, but we are able to give the right diagnosis.
Yes,
This
yes.
actually makes the this specialty very much rewarding, fulfilling,
yes.
and dynamic and interesting.
Very true, ma'am. So coming to the going to the next question, what are the different specialities in pathology?
So pathology, I mean, a lot of subspecialties are there in the pathology, like thoracic pathology, which I practice, and there is pulmonary, there is gastrointestinal GI pathology, breast pathology.
And I
ocular
would really
pathology.
like to interrupt you here, because Dr. Sharada Nagoti, she is the only pathologist who is exclusively working in thoracic pathology. So it's really a big thing, ma'am. I mean, it is actually.
I'm actually passionate about pulmonary pathology, thoracic
Fantastic.
pathology,
Wow.
and I think some other day I can share my story on how I started, how I actually got into this pulmonary
And probably
pathology.
we'll do another podcast, regarding that.
That's an entirely completely different story,
Yes.
completely different journey, because basically like any other pathologist, my first love was oncopathology. I was practicing oncopathology for many years, and then suddenly I got into this pulmonary pathology, and then I found it passionate, and then I pursued it.
Wonderful, ma'am. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, please. Specialties in pathology.
Yeah, specialties in pathology. Yeah, so it can be GI pathology, ocular pathology, breast pathology, renal pathology, hepatopathology. So most of these subspecialties that I've mentioned, they have fellowships, they have fellowship trainings in India. But thoracic pathology is the least explored. There's no fellowship in India. And so like to every specialty in medicine and surgery, there is a pathologist counterpart who can give the accurate diagnosis and then guide the clinician in the patient management.
Okay. And so what is pulmonary pathology, or like the thoracic pathology, and what is its scope in India?
Yeah. So pulmonary pathology, pulmonary is basically lung diseases of the lungs, and thoracic, it's even it's the thorax, complete thorax, which includes even the pleura, the mediastinum, and the thoracic organs like heart and vessels and all. So so coming to the scope in India, yes, pulmonary pathology or thoracic pathology, it has a very good scope in India, especially with the advancing technologies, especially in interventional pulmonology, where previously it used to be only the CT guided biopsy, the interventional radiologist used to do the biopsy, but it's now it's the interventional pulmonology which is actually advancing in leaps and bounds. The pulmonologists are doing the forceps biopsy, the transbronchial biopsies, forceps biopsies, the cryobiopsies. Not only for the neoplastic cases, but also for the non-neoplastic, especially the interstitial lung diseases. So there is a big role of pathologists in diagnosing these diseases, and coming to the neoplastic lung pathology, there are a lot of new screening methods which are coming up. So a lot of new lung cancer patients which are lung cancer cases which are being detected. So the pathologist has a role in not only the diagnosis, the typing, the staging, and the molecular testing of these lung neoplasms. And of course, yeah, a lot of the targeted therapies, a lot of targets are coming up nowadays. So there is a big role of molecular pathology testing even in lung cancers. So there's a big scope of pulmonary thoracic pathology in India.
Okay.
And even the transplant pathology, I forgot to add the transplant pathology. People are being more and more aware of the organ donation and all. So a lot of surgeons, they wanted to do the lung transplants, and of course the pathologist is the one who can decide whether it is an infection or a rejection. So there's a big scope even in the lung transplant pathology as well.
And having said that, of course, there will be some problems associated with this specialty degree in India. So can it be done any better?
Yeah.
So your input.
Yeah, so unfortunately in India, the subspecialty practice is very much under-recognized because most of the pathologists are expected to do, the general histopathology, and but I completely don't agree with this, because it's like, jack of all trades and master of none. So only a trained pathologist, like coming for example interstitial lung diseases, only a trained pathologist can be able to diagnose as well as type these interstitial lung diseases. Same thing with a lung transplant biopsy, only a trained pathologist will be able to differentiate whether it is an infection or a rejection, and this has serious treatment implications. So that's the reason why a trained pathologist should be reading that particular cases, and for this the clinicians play a very important role in supporting as well as demanding the hospital management for a trained pathologist to see their cases. So that only a trained pathologist, only then the pathology practice in India will go to the next level, and the patients and the clinicians will be able to get the most accurate diagnosis.
Okay, and you have also worked in United States, right? And so, how do you think it is? How different is it from India?
Yeah. So in the United States, it's mostly a subspecialty practice. Most of the pathologists, they practice either one specialty of their passion, or another maximum 2 specialties. So subspecialty practice is more in the United States compared to India. And for example, Cleveland Clinic, there are 4 thoracic pathologists practicing only thoracic pathology, while in India I'm the only one who is practicing only the thoracic pathology. And the same in Mayo Clinic as well as Washington University also. Subspecialty practice is more there when compared to our country.
So it is kind of like, I think it has to pick up in India.
Yeah,
definitely.
in India it has to pick up, and I hope that it will happen soon. With the clinicians' support, of course.
Yeah, true. Interesting question. Pros and cons of pathology as a career option. A lot of junior doctors who are actually aspiring to become postgraduates, who will enter into their post-graduation, they're always confused whether to opt for pathology or not. So what is your advice?
So one thing I would like to tell upfront is, please don't think pathology is a cool branch. It is not. It is a very responsible branch. You should always be on guard, because remember that your reports are very critical for the patient management, for the clinicians, for the patient management. So it's a very responsible field. Don't think that pathologists are just they sit in their cabins, they read their slides and just enjoy life. No, it's not. It's a very responsible field. So having said that, it's a very dynamic and interesting subspecialty, because your pathologists are the heroes behind the scenes. So the entire management depends upon the pathologist report. The entire hospital, as I've already said, every other specialty is based on pathology. So a pathologist is the VVIP in making in the patient's management. So coming to the advantages, so a person who is, again, as I've already said, a person who is very passionate about this field, more inquisitive, have a desire to learn, desire to research, have a desire to become a detective. Such people, they can just, they enjoy this field. And of course, there are a lot of career options that you can choose. You can either become choose an academic institute where you can teach your residents and teach your clinicians and all, or you can open up your own lab and then become an entrepreneur. And a lot of options are there. Or you can just join corporate hospital as a consultant. So a lot of career options are there for pathology. So these are the pros. And then the cons. The cons are like, as I've already said, it's a very responsible field. Your report carries a lot of weightage. So be very, very careful. Pathologists should be very, very careful in signing out the report, especially benign versus malignant, because if you make such a gross mistake, then you can end up in medical legal issues. And the other thing is, you don't get the opportunity most of the time to interact with the patient directly. So for some people, it might be a less rewarding thing, but again, please remember, you are the heroes behind the scenes.
Yeah, that is true, because I often get these kind of questions, and sometimes I am also in limbo. How do I make them understand? They come and they ask me, what are you? I say, I'm a pathologist. Oh, what do you actually, what do you mean by, pathology? What do you do actually? Are you like even a doctor? I said, okay, fine. Now, how do I answer this question? So, I think, so
now pathology is no more a paraclinical branch. It has moved to a clinical branch. It's a clinical specialty now.
Yeah. True.
It's a
So-
great news.
Yeah, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I too.
Yeah, so and this has been such an insightful discussion with you, doctor. And before we wrap up the podcast, so what is your perception about, like your thoughts about final thoughts about what we as pathologists can do to raise more awareness in this about our field, pathology field?
Yeah. So before going to that question, I would like to give one golden piece of advice to the budding pathologists as well as the practicing pathologists. As I've already said, you're a very responsible person. Your report carries a lot of weightage. You're the main, like it's very critical. Your reports are all very critical. So don't just see the slide and sign out the report. Please, and before that, please don't make yourself feel that you are inferior to a clinician. No, because as I've already said, we play a very vital role. And so don't just see the slide and then sign out your report with a descriptive diagnosis. Always make it a habit that you talk to the clinician, get all the clinical details, talk to the radiologist, see the scans, and then finally correlate your findings, your biopsy findings with the clinical information, the radiology findings, and the other investigations, and sign out the complete report giving the most appropriate diagnosis. So this is one thing which I wanted to say. And now coming to your question, can you please repeat it? I'm
So,
sorry.
like we as pathologists, what can we do to raise more awareness in about our field?
So the same thing, like you talk to your clinicians, don't sit in your cabin and then sign out the reports. Talk to the clinicians, talk to the radiologists. You are a clinician. You are not, you don't consider yourself as just a pathologist. It's just my responsibility is only to sign out the report. No, talk to the clinicians, talk to the radiologists, get more information, and then attend conferences, learn more, network more, and you spread your knowledge. You be a speaker. You go as a delegate, network. You be a speaker. You try to gain as much as knowledge as possible, and then you share your knowledge. And of course, doctors is there. You can always collaborate
Yes.
with doctors, and and then you can just take this field forward.
Fantastic. That was very nice advice that you have given. And so to all the viewers and listeners, whether you are in the field of medicine or just curious about the unseen heroes of medicine, I hope this podcast has given you a different perception and appreciation towards pathology field. Thank you once again, Dr. Sharada Nagote. It has been such a great discussion, and I really hope this podcast will help the budding pathologists, and just not even I am also in a budding stage, so I'm gonna have I'm taking a lot of points from this discussion. Thank you once again.
It's my pleasure, and thank you so much for this opportunity. And I'm looking forward for more collaborations, for more associations with doctors, and wish doctors loads and loads of success. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for tuning in. This is Dr. Bharani signing off.